Hello, good evening. I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. Police are investigating the island's latest apparent murder, this time in Black Rock, St. Michael.
Scores of family members and relatives gathered on the scene in this closely knit district of Seclusion Road this morning as word spread about the demise of Victor Knight. The 53-year-old was discovered dead inside of his home. His brother Sheriff Knight said his sibling had what appeared to be stab wounds to his chest and an injury to his throat. He also says his motorcycle was missing. It's suspected that the deceased was attacked last night based on a neighbor's report that she heard a commotion in the house sometime after 11. The alarm, however, was not raised until just after 8 this morning.
When his friends that ready visiting on the morning and they have the little drinks, realized, yeah, this time he ain't up yet. So he went and called and then realized he ain't an answer. So I think he peeped through and see there laying down in jail. And well, first thing comes to his mind that he was dead. He didn't expect him to be stabbed up and things. He thought he was dead, like from a heart attack or something like that.
Inspector in charge of crime at the Black Rock station, Lionel Ward, was unable to provide a lot of information so early in the investigation.
We received a call sometime around 8:15 this morning relative to natural death. The carrying investigations. We did not say one natural death. I can clearly say that it's a male, middle age. At this stage, the investigations are at a delicate stage.
Knight's apparent killing has prompted Member of Parliament for the area, James Paul, to call for those in authority to ensure that the perpetrators of such heinous crimes are brought to justice.
We just recently debated the death penalty in Parliament last week. It is continued. But you know, one of the things I really think that society we cannot do, to give people the impression that we can, you know, have these kind of things happening and it just occurs like that. These are people's lives are lost.
In the meantime, relatives remain in shock at how Victor Knight met his death. His brother recalled the last time he saw him yesterday afternoon around 3.
He came and he had something to eat and came back home. Funny to say, I got sweet bread and things therefore looking to come for it this morning. You know what I'm saying?
Lisa Lord, CBC News.
Lisa, thanks. 2 St. John men charged for illegal harvesting of close to 400 sea eggs have been both remanded to Her Majesty's Prison at Dodds. This after they pleaded guilty to 2 charges when they appeared in the District C Magistrates Court earlier today. Police say 54-year-old Erskine Adolphus Pollard and 43-year-old David Orlando Bennett, both of Bath, have been told to return to the District C Magistrates Court tomorrow when they are expected to know their fate. Pollard and Bennett were charged for the offense of fishing for sea eggs during closed season and possession of sea eggs during closed season. Lawmen say just after midday on Saturday, members of the Police Marine Unit conducted an operation at Bath Beach in St. John. Police say Pollard was found with a bag containing 150 sea eggs, while Bennett was found with 218 sea eggs. They were subsequently arrested and charged. Former CLICO executive Leroy Paris has been speaking out about the collapse of the company and his role in the business over the years. This was during a press briefing called by his lawyers Hal Gollop QC and Vernon Smith QC to discuss the latest developments in the matter.
I did nothing wrong. If I had to do what I have to do again, I'll do the same thing over. The way how I manage it, before I'll manage it again. Prudent, straightforward and honest. I did nothing wrong.
That's former CLICO executive Leroy Paris responding to questions from the media on whether he felt responsible in any way for the problems being faced by the company. In fact, Mr. Paris says during his time at CLICO, it was well managed and very profitable, accounting for several successful investments in Barbados and across the region. He says where things went wrong was the run on CLICO after word got out that the parent company had financial problems.
Trinidad had problems to collapse and the company had a run because of the people in Barbados have asked the policyholders to pull the money out of the company. That the money was going to go to Trinidad So the policyholders run to the office and take the money out of the company. And any financial institution that have a run, it would collapse.
He is adamant, however, that the Barbados operation should not have been put under judicial management.
I told the Prime Minister that I did not agree with that decision.
So what do you think would have been the best course?
The course was, I retired. I retired. So all I had to do was to put a manager in there. Keep the eyes on the system. Don't get rid of all the agents, as the judicial manager have done, and keep the company rolling, because the company cannot survive without the sell insurance.
The former executive says, however, he is sorry about the outcome and empathizes with the policyholders, of whom he is one.
It bothers me every day I drive around this country and I see the investments that I had control of, to see how they look, the way they'll be treated, the direction they're going. It really hurts.
On the issue of the $3.3 million, which the judicial manager is now trying to recover from Mr. Paris, his lawyers say it is money to which the former executive is entitled. Attorney Hal Golla produced 4 documents, which he says detail the setup of the company, professional financial services, and the agreement to pay Mr. Paris a gratuity of $10 million that was due on May 15, 2008.
I think the documentation is clear, and there's ample evidence of his right to the $3.3 million, which arises out of a gratuity of $10 million, which the balance shows still due to him $6.5 million.
Mr. Gollop says there have been several misconceptions over the years regarding the money owed to Mr. Paris. The lawyer declined to comment on the merit of the suit because it is before the court. The National Registry of Artists and Cultural Workers has been launched. It will allow artists on the island to access the suite of incentives under the Cultural Industries Development Act. The legislation was proclaimed yesterday and came into effect today. Culture Minister Stephen Lashley says under the new legislation, artists are required to be registered. He was speaking to the media on the sidelines of the inaugural Caribbean Music Summit at Hilton, Barbados this morning.
It's an online web-based portal, and the difference with this is that it's not only going to be providing with names of the artists, their various genres of activity, but they will have a portal by which artists can actually load information on themselves. So it's providing an avenue where they can actually advertise their services. And this is phenomenal because, of course, this is breaking new ground for Barbados and indeed for the region, and allows for persons to be able to promote themselves not only in Barbados but globally, and that's the global reach of the web-based system.
Mr. Lashley says the legislation will also make it easier for people to invest in the Cultural Industries Fund.
We are basically looking to have this fund set up, but of course you know that in difficult economic times we have to find that funding first. And a very innovative provision under the legislation allows for even cultural workers but other investors to invest into the Culture Industries Fund. And in exchange for that, of course, they will have a particular income tax rebate, which would help them in terms of their own businesses.
After the break, we'll have more stories. But first, we want to get your take on the question. Do you think there should be stiffer fines for harvesting sea eggs out of season? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the result for you at the end of the news.
Win a cruise this year with BICO. Just spend $10 on any BICO product and claim a scratch card. You could win 2 7-day Carnival cruises, courtesy of Foster & Ince, and 2 dinner cruises from Black Pearl Party Cruises, or one of 500 1 liters of BICO ice cream and 1,000 BICO bandanas. See press for a list of participating outlets or call BICO at 430-2100.
You just got into a car accident. Now you have to fix it and you don't have the sense. Don't worry, be happy. Your home got flooded out and you've lost it all, and chances to recover start to look very small. Don't worry, Don't worry. Be happy.
Want to live the worry-free life today? Call us at Beacon or log on to beacon.co.tt. Beacon Insurance. Switched on.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
The U.S. sees potential in the local flower market. Its ambassador to Barbados, Leroy Paris, after taking in the annual Flower and Garden Show at Ball's Plantation, has extended an invitation to growers to visit the econ and commercial section of the embassy at Wilde. He tells CBC News there is a market for cut flowers from the islands.
I was chargé d'affaires in Ecuador, and Ecuador is probably our second largest exporter of cut flowers. I mean, roses and beautiful plants. There's a tremendous market for that. You can go into any supermarket in part of the United States, and there's a large section there for flowers. And so, yes, absolutely. I mean, I see this as a tremendous area for growth.
Ambassador Palmer says the timing of the show is perfect as it affords tourists an opportunity to see the local flora and fauna.
I think it would be a tremendous boost to tourism. And of course, as you know, what's good for tourism is good for Barbados, and what's good for Barbados is good for the United States.
Celebrations have started for Black History Month. Students of the George Lamming Primary School celebrated the event with song and dance under the theme Africa, the Cradle of Civilization. During the ceremony, former history teacher of the Coleridge and Paris Secondary School, Dr. Rodney Worrell, told students of the many developments Africa has contributed to the world.
Inside of Africa, you had sophisticated systems of government. That is, the Africans had large empires. They ruled over many nations in the Middle East, in Asia, and even in the interior of Africa. So we're saying that given the criteria, Africa was civilized, and Africa gave the world civilization.
Former physical education teacher of the Lodge School, MacDonald Fingal, is concerned that Barbadians are facing an identity crisis. His comments came at the Christchurch Foundation School during the opening ceremony of African History Month. Mr. Fingal encouraged students to be proud of who they are, and he used the example of hair.
The hair that grows up from your head has to be good hair. It is part of you. It grows from you. Are you not good? So when you get there and put on somebody else's hair, imitating white people, imitating all the people in Vietnam, taking up dead people here and putting on their head with all kind of fancy name like Remy, you are telling me that you're not satisfied with yourself, you don't like yourself.
Well, for the next 6 weeks, 32 students will be exposed to the basic operations of the United Nations and the world of diplomacy. They'll be participating in the 3rd annual Rotary Model UN program, which was launched over the weekend. During the month-and-a-half sessions, the students will be examining various global issues, including human trafficking. They will also be vying for the opportunity to represent Barbados at the Regional Model UN program in Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking during the launch, President of Rotary South, Richard Kennedy, said it will help the students with their personal development.
And each year we see our students come here. Some of them start very green, some of them start very quiet and timid. But in the next coming weeks, we begin to see, as you go through your training, as you sit with Sonia, as you sit with Elisa and Janine, each year you begin to grow. You become a lot more confident and bold and very interested in a number of different areas.
Chairman of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Alex MacDonald, also highlighted some of the positives of the program, including that it will help participants to develop their communication skills.
The object of what we're doing is to show you what dialogue and interaction and meeting of minds can do with a small little group of 32. And if it can be that 32 of you in 6 weeks can come to mutual understanding, you don't have to believe what the other person is saying, that at least you will have made the step towards your career in listening to somebody with whom you fundamentally disagree with. And that is the first step in international peace.
Teachers at one of the island's special needs institutions are being encouraged to give their best to their students. This advice from Reverend Jacynthia Haynes. She says this is necessary as teachers influence their students' future. Reverend Haynes called on them to be self-motivated instead of seeking monetary rewards.
Don't let the paycheck be your source of encouragement. That's an advantage, but it's not all of who or what you are. Be prepared to go beyond the call of duty because of your love for these students, because of your love to see these students excel and to do their best, beyond the call of duty. If it is a paycheck, I suggest you find another job, because you do more damage than good to these children. I'm sorry.
Meantime, Principal Wendy Blackman advised parents to be more supportive of their children.
To the parents of deaf students, it is imperative that you learn sign language so that you can effectively communicate with your children. Sign language classes are available at the school through the efforts of the National Disability Unit. Sign up now and be a part of your child's life.
Still to come, a look at some of the major stories across the region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Do you think there should be stiffer fines for harvesting of sea eggs out of season? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the result for you at the end of the news. Now remember, you can also